All right, great morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at Sealed by Yah, the Higher Calling, where we just truly, truly believe that everybody is called higher. And so we're here to help you all to do that. And we're doing that together. So we're learning together, we're growing together, we're living together, we're loving together. Um, so we're just doing all things Christ here together. And we don't claim to know it all, but we release the things that we know that the Lord tells us to, and we share. And we created this safe space for people to come and be able to share how they feel about some things, ask some questions, get some direction, get prayer or whatever. So, but anyway, look, I said that we just finished up leaving Egypt. And there is no way, I'm just trying to get to my notes. There is no way that we can leave Egypt and go straight into the promised land. Do y'all hear me? You can't go straight into the promised land. But guess what? That's what so many of us want to do. And we live our lives like that. We want to get there instantly. You thinking that, oh, just because, oh, okay, yeah, I said this and I learned that and okay, and I heard that and okay, yeah, they did that for me. Now, when that part of that situation is over and it's time for you to go higher, don't think that there's nothing that else that you have to do. Right. And so leaving Egypt, that was just part of it. And a lot of you guys are still in there, right? And you got to come out. And when you come out, there is the wilderness part before you get to that promised land. So for some who are still in the wilderness, hopefully you listen to it, go back and listen to those five, and thinking not strange that it carried all the way out to Passover, right? What we're celebrating, where where the Israelites were freed by the Egyptians. And so the the wilderness is what's going to come up next. Our wilderness series, like through the wilderness, when freedom feels like a desert. It may feel like that for some, but then you got those who are in it and I mean who have come through even through that wilderness part. And I believe the Lord has given me to talk about this because I've done these things, right? And I want to share how I made it, how I got the things that I learned, and just different things. So we're going to be going into the wilderness series next before we get to the promised land. I am super excited. I'm excited about what the Lord is going to be sharing. I don't know. I was just telling y'all some things that we know that's going to be happening, that we're going to be doing. It's going to be out of the ordinary, right? It's out of the ordinary. Because if you keep doing the same thing, what and expecting something different, that makes you what? Insane. To think that you're going to keep, that you're going to get anything different by doing the same thing, and you keep following the world's way of stuff, you're going to mess around here and just miss when the bridegroom comes back here and going to be like, what happened? What I do? I did this. I'll be like, bye, y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. I told you, it was a group that I used to be with that they used to think that I was just too bold, so bold, saying, oh no, I see y'all up in heaven. I'm gonna be standing right there next to Jesus. At that time, I was saying Jesus. I still say Jesus, but Yeshua, standing right next to the throne with him, saying, yeah, Lord, yeah, I remember them. Yeah, she good people. Let her on in. You know what I'm saying? But it definitely won't be up to me. I ain't saying that. But I was just saying, the reason why I was saying that is because I said that my goal is to end up in heaven. All right? Next to the throne. Mm. All right. So leaving Egypt feels like victory for the ones who have left, right? You escape, you survive, and you have escaped, you have survived, but you weren't prepared for the wilderness. That's a whole nother ball game. So that's funny. So now that really reminds me that I told y'all I was in that place with my husband. We were married for 12 years, right? And then this is so beautiful. Married for 12 years. we divorced. We were divorced and separated for 5 years. We were supposed to have been separated. I couldn't shake him for nothing, so he was still around in my space. But then I went back in for another 12, right? So I'm saying, even though I felt like I had left Egypt, I wasn't prepared, or the Lord wanted to see if I was really prepared for the wilderness. So I had to go back in to learn some other things. Those things that I learned through that first phase, I had to now go and utilize those skills or those things that I learned, with a brand new heart, with a brand new mindset, with a brand new way to love and to walk out some things, to show love, and just different things, to withstand some things. So again, some of you escaped Egypt, and you even survived. You survived it and escaped, but you weren't prepared for it, for the wilderness, for the wilderness and what was to come. And the wilderness is that space after bondage. But before the promise, y'all better, this thing right here, my little note's gonna make me just jump out of this chair. Okay? It's that space after bondage, but before a promise. So again, that's why we cannot go straight into the promised land. Okay? And so the wilderness is that place, that space after bondage. It's where silence is loud. Silence is loud. And then sometimes that's why it drives more people underground, because you thinking other people hearing your silence, but they're not. But because it's so loud to you, and then it causes you to shrink even more. No, stop shrinking. All right? Where healing feels like wandering. Accept your healing. Stop rejecting it. Stop trying to figure it out and try to give something else the credit for it. That's why I said don't be giving nothing the credit. I don't care if it's creams, if it's teas, if it's medication, if it's whatever it is, concoctions, okay, that we come up with, or we hear it about. Yeah, they using that. They did. Let me mix up. I'm not saying not to do it, but that is not the way you get a credit. It's the Father who's going to anoint that stuff to heal you. That's why you feel like you're wandering around trying to figure out, am I healed? Am I not? And when people attach themselves to something, just like I'm an AKA, or I'm a somebody said something, I'm a cancer survivor, or I have diabetes. And you're just attaching yourself to stuff. And if they diagnosed you with that stuff and you rejected it, you separate yourself from that stuff. Separate yourself. Give it back to the enemy. Let somebody else have it who wants to claim it. And I can't, and when I see and it's not just y'all know, it's plenty of areas where I hear people say, I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, you wearing it like a badge of honor. That doesn't give y'all glory. Stop. Where freedom honestly feels confusing. Ain't that a blip? I'm just saying, you free, but you still feel confused. That's why you have to get in this wilderness, and you're going to learn some stuff. You're going to have to accept and stop rejecting those things of Yah that he's sending to you, the people, the word. You learn to that trust level, that faith, your belief system. Is a lot of things that's going to be built up in this area. So we're going to talk about the wilderness. I'm telling y'all, I've been in all of these places where I'm thinking I'm supposed to be free. I'm like, this don't feel like freedom. But baby, your girl is free, and free indeed. So there may be days you ask, maybe days you ask him, did I do the right thing? Look, this You can tell this what I'm about to say. It really gets me, and I'm like, that's why most of the time I need a compassion person around me who's gonna be doing all the hugging because I'm gonna go in hard. Okay, I'm gonna go in hard. Like, stop that. So there may again, there may be days where you ask the Lord, "Did I do the right thing?" When you don't left Egypt. All right, did I do the right thing? Was I really supposed to leave? Maybe Egypt wasn't that bad. Y'all know what they did in the wilderness? They were talking about, you done brought us out here to kill us, for us to die. Back there, we were eating this, and out here, we got to stop. Just stop. If you done left, now you're going to have to figure out, you're going to have to, and you left and not being prepared for the wilderness. So get out, get in this thing, get into the word and asking the Lord. Like I said, get into those heavenly things. I just introduced y'all, not to say none of y'all have ever heard the music, but I just introduced you guys to heavenly music, that you can get heavenly downloads, that you can get heavenly dreams, you can get heavenly thoughts. You want these kingdom thoughts and get out of that stuff right there because that's the enemy talking to you to get you to go back to what is familiar to you.
Mm.
You got something, Tracy?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I had stopped listening to a whole lot of gospel music, of
Mm-hmm.
our gospel music, because all they were talking about was the devil, 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 devil. And I was like,
Give
come
him
on.
all the
It's more,
credit.
it's like, come on, it's more than about the, we know that the devil exists, and I understand it, but it was like every song was, the devil, devil, devil. So I had to stop. I had to stop. I had to just stop. You know what I mean? Some of it's okay, but some of it's just too much. It's just too much, so I
Absolutely,
agree.
y'all. Now, I went to a gospel fest yesterday.
How was it?
Ridiculous. Look, okay. Y'all know you're gonna get the truth from me. And so the little gospel rapper. Next thing I know, he had backup dancers that, they picking up the guy picking up the girl and she making formations with her legs. And then the girl came out with the little flapper dress, the dress with all the shingles on it. And looked like she not even a ballroom dance because it wasn't no gown, it was a real short dress. I was like, what the heck is going on right here? I thought we were listening to gospel. Girl, when I tell y'all, the Lord just wanted me to just see what they really still doing out here. And the I couldn't even stay for the headliner, which was Byron Cage. I told this lady, I said, I don't seen enough. Okay. I don't seen and heard enough. I can't even stay out here. I got something to do, which I did because I came home and I sat and watched Kurt Landry. Okay. Came got me some Passover word. Bye. Because this is buffoonery out here. But yeah, so again, fill yourself with heavenly things that you can get those heavenly downloads if you want the visitations of the Lord, right? And especially as a kingdom citizen, especially if you have left Egypt and you're out here in the wilderness, you don't want to be subjected to other people's thoughts, their feelings, their way of doing things, their understanding, and you not feeling alone and all of that. You're not alone. You got us. All right. And so the enemy just want to confuse you even more and to make you come back because he don't want to lose you. He don't want to break up with you. He don't. All right. And that's the thing about the wilderness. It tempts you to go back to what the Lord has already brought you out of. Because pain, y'all, after a while of living with pain, it just becomes people just live with the pain. It just becomes very familiar, right? And then when you come up out of it, that's the unknown. Like, I don't feel that pain no more. So now you're scared. It can be a little scary, all right? So, but we're going to talk about all of those things, um, how to make it through the wilderness. But y'all didn't bring you out to abandon you, y'all. He did not. He brought you out to become just who he created you to become Oh my goodness, that's so good. To depend, to learn to depend on him. Like we were just talking before the video started. We were learning to depend on him, right? And not thinking that we can take it all and do it all ourselves, or or fall for the enemy's tricks, and thinking that we have to depend on the world system. Is a system. Leave the world system for the kingdom system. Now we were talking about how these systems, and now people probably weren't racist until they start working for the system. And then the system teaches you that this is the law and this is what I need for you to help uphold. And now you're thinking that this is the right way to do. That's a bad system. And now, because so many people have been subjected to it, especially a lot of people are brown and what they call them, brown and something colors. I don't know. Black and brown, brown and wood. What's the other color? Other color. I don't know what they call them. Brown and something. I was trying to figure that out. I don't know. But anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. But the system, I mean, when I started listening to all of that, I'm like, it's the system. But anyway, so it teaches you to depend on him. And just like Carmen was saying when she like before we got started, like all this stuff that's happening around her. And that's what the word says are happen. These things will be happening in Egypt, and the people of Yah will not be affected. It's real. So you'll learn to hear him again. We want you guys we need to get to the place where we can hear him. And you're gonna have to put yourself in that position. And then sometimes even so that way you can hear him, even in the midst of trouble, or struggles. Because some of us get so caught up in our pain and our fear that you can't hear him. You can't hear him. I don't know what to do. I don't know. And he done told you a million times, but you ain't heard him because that fear, that is louder than that small, still voice. All right. So in Egypt, you had plans. Look, let me tell you, yeah, honey, in Egypt, when I was in Egypt, I had all kinds of plans. I was making all kinds of plans. And they weren't the Lord's plans, but yeah, hey. Survival skills. I learned, do y'all remember me telling you this whole time that I was in this space that I felt like I was in survival mode? I learned survival skills. In Egypt, I felt like, I had to get to a place then where I was in control, right? In order to survive. So I had plans, I had survival skills that came up, and I was in control. That was in Egypt. But in the wilderness, you have none of that. Your plans don't matter. I don't care what kind of skills you think you got. We don't went to college. You don't went, you've been on your job a million years and you got experience. Okay. And you think you're in control of stuff. Not. You just have daily manna. Daily manna. The Lord, he will give you daily manna, just what you need. You have his grace. Okay. And so these are the things that you learn inside the wilderness. You have his whisper. You hear him whispering. What I'm telling you about that whisper, so you can learn to hear his whisper. So you can drown out the loudness of your fear and your doubts. And I gotta go here. I gotta do that. I got this, and that. No, calm yourself down and listen to what the Lord is telling you, because we get so caught up in the way that we want to do things and how things, we feel like things ought to be done. And this is what I need to be done for me in order for me to be able to sustain myself in this world. Calm down. And you have his presence. Okay. And I know, when I tell people that kind of stuff, it's hard for them to comprehend. But the only way you're going to get it is you're going to have to try him. You're going to have to try him. And then the more you try him, you're going to begin to trust him. All right. And slowly you will begin to see the wilderness is not a punishment. The wilderness is preparation. You can't go in the promised land with all this crap you got going on right now. You can't. You're not going. You can work all hard and wow, every time, if it ain't one thing, it's another. Like the same year, nothing is getting better because you're not getting better. Things don't get better. You have to get better. All right. So it was here that I learned to speak truth over shame. To speak truth over shame, y'all. Those things that make you feel, look, y'all know I'm transparent. I tell it. If you ask me, you're going to get the answer. I don't care how it makes me look, because what you going to do to me? Or, yeah, you can't tell it because I just went and I already done told it. All right. So that's why I learned to speak truth. And that's why I put a post yesterday. Y'all need to start listening and looking to hear from the spirit of truth and over shame. Then they cannot make you feel bad. You feel bad over what you do. That's why you hide. Don't want to do nothing and, don't want your stuff to show you to show up nowhere or be put on Front Street to do some things because of you feeling shame. People are waiting for you. They want to hear it. I learned to stand in my worth. My worth. Because people will make you feel bad about who you are, make you feel like you ain't worthy, that you're not worthy. It's not for them to tell you that you're not. That could be a lot. That's jealousy. That's envy. That's all of that. That's speaking to you. All right. That's the enemy speaking to you. To hear y'all clearly without all the noise. This is where I learned to hear him clearly. And for me to get to that place of obedience, was it hard? Absolutely. Did it, girl, drew all kind of tears and temper tantrums, and I'm telling y'all, true temper tantrums. Because I didn't want to do some of those things that I had to do in the wilderness. And to love myself, right? And again, when people say, become who I am unapologetically. So to love myself deeply, fully, and without apology. I can't help that you don't like the way that I am, of the way I like excellence. I like to show up. I don't, nowadays you ain't gonna catch me in a whole bunch of heels, but I ain't gonna show up raggedy. You know what I'm saying? And this, that, and the other. So I learned to love myself and be okay with people feeling however they're gonna feel because they didn't dress me. You know what I'm saying? They didn't decide what kind of day that you're not gonna decide what kind of day I'm gonna have. So I learned to love myself deeply, fully, without apology, and you will too. You will too. Okay? And Isaiah 43:10 says, "You are my witnesses, declares the Lord, and my servant whom I have chosen." The Lord chose you. Did nobody else choose you? Okay? This is where you will become a living testimony. Now, I told y'all about what was going to be happening about that living. Y'all know what I told you about the project before we got started? Those two things, that was written about 2 weeks ago. Now, this right here just lines up with what we're going to be talking about and doing inside of the wilderness. That's when I realized the two was coming together. This is where you will become a living testimony. Not because you have made it yet, but because even in the middle, Yah is making something new in you. All right? He's making something new in you, y'all. Oh, I absolutely love it. So if you're in your own wilderness right now, in your own wilderness season right now, and these are questions that you can answer when we get off. the air? Or if you want to share with the public, again, it's up to you. I want y'all to. What mindset are you still carrying from Egypt? If you don't left Egypt and you now stepping into this wilderness, what mindset are you still carrying from Egypt that wants to drag you back? It's only three questions I have that I want you guys to answer for yourselves and share if I would love for you to share if you want. What manna has Yah given you today? What has He, fed you, given you? We talked about that daily manna. People were like, they didn't want what He was serving, but if you want to live, you better eat it. And the last one is, who are you becoming here? Who are you becoming in this wilderness season right now? Who do you feel like that you're becoming? I know you don't got a glimpse. All right. So again, let me just say, in closing, just don't survive the wilderness, y'all. Become in it, because He said that we in the wilderness, we are to become. Let Yah shape you. Let Yah shape you into someone who doesn't carry a testimony, but is a testimony. What we say? You're going to become that living testimony, right? You're not just escaping Egypt. You're stepping into the version of you that Yah always saw, that He always saw, who He originally created, that you're whole, healed, and you're His. I'm like, that's what's up. You're stepping into the vision. I'm gonna say that this is the closing. You're stepping into the version of who Yah saw you from the very beginning, who He saw you as in the very beginning, as whole, healed, and His. You can't beat that. All right. So we finished up Leaving Egypt. I'm saying go back, guys, go to our Leaving Egypt series playlist, listen to it, because there's no way that I could just jump right into everything else until we understood what was going to be needed and what's going to happen out here in this wilderness, out here in these wilderness streets. Okay. And so I'm so thankful. So you guys don't hang up. And so YouTube or whoever, wherever you may watch this from, I just appreciate you guys being here, staying to the end, and go back and watch the Leaving Egypt if you haven't. And just hang on in there with us for the Wilderness series. It's going to be amazing. I already know. So some great things that's going to come out of it. All right. And so we will see you all next Saturday.